But it is interesting because Siakam's efficiency and usage has really dropped lately. The last couple of games here, I'm looking at Chicago. The Raptors won, but he was 7 of 18 from the field. Then the first Washington game, he was 6 of 16. Second one, he was 5 of 10. This one, he was 8 of 18. His free throw attempts, 6, 0, 5, and 2. Those are very below his season averages. What are you seeing from Pascal recently?
Yeah, it's something that I wanted to ask you about as much as answer to you, and I knew it would come up. It's the free throw attempts is really troubling, and I tend to use free throw attempts. Obviously, they're going to go up and down game to game, but I think it's a pretty good proxy for how aggressive you're being.
Yeah, I agree.
And you know how much time you're spending around the rim. So when you lay out those stats, and Pascal's shooting 42% over the last 5 games on 17 field goal attempts. Man, I bet if we looked at the shot chart, it's a lot of that like 14-foot stuff where he's not getting all the way into the paint. And maybe it's still close enough that he can get into kind of that push shot package that he has, but not as close to the rim as you want to see him. I at least thought the second Washington game, he did a good job turning around and being like, you know what? This is a facilitator game for me. I'm going to focus on the passing, and I think he only took 10 field goal attempts that game. But yeah, he's figuring it out right now. I don't know how much of that is the new offensive dynamic. It seemed like he had pretty natural chemistry with Jakob right away. Him and Fred obviously have had a natural chemistry for a long time. There's also potentially, I don't want to use this as an excuse, but as a reality thing, since he came back from injury, nobody in the league has played more minutes.
Oh, okay.
I do wonder if there's some sort of cumulative fatigue thing here. I know nobody wants to hear that since we're so closely removed from the All-Star break, and there's only been one back-to-back in that. But this is a guy who missed, a fifth of the season and is still top 20 in total minutes played on the year.
Impressive.
I do wonder, if there's a component of that, but also like this is not the very first time we've seen Pascal have like a multi-game lull like this where he's got to figure some things out. Like there was that one in December where the 2 Orlando games, he had one of those games he was really bad, and then the Sacramento game he was shaky.
Yep,
the Brooklyn game he was shaky. So it's not entirely new for him to go through a stretch like this and need to figure it out. I'm curious as to your take though, to what degree that has to do with just Pascal's stuff and to what degree it has to do with, well, the offensive dynamic has shifted here at least a little bit.
Oh, they're definitely shifting in the sense that they're playing way more middle pick and roll with Fred and Yak. And there's not as many downhill effects of that for Pascal, right? I think that, if you run that pick and roll, you're going to get situations where Fred's going to be open to shoot. And we do want him to pull up, especially from 3, but even the mid-range area, he's shooting like 47% from 16 to the 3-point line. He's been really good on the mid-range shot. Other than that, he's feeding Jakob, which is excellent. Definitely want to see that happen all the time. If a third defender tags over, Siakam's not necessarily that weak side shooter that really benefits from it. So that middle pick and roll with those two aren't really creating that many chances, I think, for Pascal. The other thing is Pascal can just run the same play with Jakob. It's not going to look the same. You probably force a lot more switches on Pascal to attack more ISO. But, I think they're still just trying to figure it out a little bit. I think the 2 games against Washington, the matchup wasn't good. They had a lot of good shot blockers in that one. So it wasn't really like Siakam should have taken Kristaps one-on-one that often. But, yeah, no, it's something that's worth watching, obviously, because I think, I'm concerned about the free throw attempts. The assists have also come down as well in that stretch.